Hi, I'm Adam, and this is my HO scale model railroad based on the Southern Railway's Murphy branch in western North Carolina. Since our last update, there's been a lot of progress on foundational aspects of the railroad: the backdrop, fascia, and the lighting. When I made my last video, I figured that the scenery wouldn't be that far off, that I'd be hot gluing cardboard webbing in no time. But there's some important work to be done first, which is to set the boundaries of the stage, if you will, the backdrop and the fascia. In the last update, I'd made some major progress on the backdrop behind Silva and Andrews. Since then, I've prepped and painted it with the sky blue base. I've also expanded the backdrop to Topton and the surrounding areas above Bryson. In preparation to paint mountains on the backdrop, I'm adding some clouds. The mountains will then be painted on top of the clouds. I paint my clouds with a matte white spray paint and a couple of different masks. You can buy cloud masks like they're commercially available, but I just cut mine out of a Cheerios box. The fascia defines the front edge of the scene. Almost everybody uses hardboard for this, and I would too, except I have a lot of 1/4-inch luan plywood on hand. Frankly, luan is not a great choice. It splinters and it doesn't like to bend, but I've got a lot of it and I've got nothing else to do with it. I'm trying to keep the lines of the fascia simple and smooth. While I generally do like layouts where the fascia undulates with the scenery and the hills and such, I just didn't want to risk getting bogged down and overthinking those shapes just yet. Plus, by keeping the top of the fascia level, there's less risk of the fascia showing up in the background of photographs that cross aisles. Another benefit of this is that it makes the grade toward Topton more noticeable. I've installed the first strand of LED strip lighting over eastern Bryson. My long-term plan is to have white LEDs for daytime and RGB for sunset, night, and sunrise. For now though, I'm only installing the white LEDs. It was important to me that this layout have really good lighting. I've tested a number of strips over the years and found that there are some pitfalls. If you want to just see your trains, you might not care about these things as much. So pitfall number 1. Several of the LED strips I tried just weren't bright enough. I'd need 2 strips to get enough light. I'd suggest buying the brightest thing you can find. Number 2. Most white LED strips have a color rendering index of 80. The strip on the left is CRI 80 and the strip on the right is CRI 90. CRI refers to the quality of the white light. Even though both of these strips are 3000K, which is warm white, you can see that the CRI 80 strip has a definite yellow cast. On its own it doesn't look bad, and I might be able to clean this up in editing, but I'd wager that most of your guests who photograph your layout won't know how to. Number 3, and finally, without a diffuser you can see the individual LEDs of the strip reflected in the rails. It kind of gives an unnerving parallax chasing light effect as you walk past. You can buy or make a diffuser, but that's just one more thing to install and block some light transmission. I'm thrilled to have found these strips, and the one I chose is the one on the right. They weren't cheap, but they tick all the boxes. They're extremely bright, high CRI, and not only is there a built-in diffuser, this yellow plastic, but the individual LEDs are packed so close together that their reflection doesn't shimmer in the rails. I've mounted 1 strip so far. I cut some 45-degree blocks, attached some clips, and hot glued them to the back of the fascia. So far, so good. It's awesome to see how dramatic it looks with the room lights off, and I really can't wait to get the RGB lights in, but first I really need some scenery to shine them on, right? Well, that's what's new on the Murphy branch. I've got a lot of luan left to bend to my will, but now that I've completed the fascia for about 1/4 of the layout, I can at least start with defining those landforms around Bryson and Topton. Best of all, the holidays are coming up, and layouts in these parts have a way of flourishing in that time. Thanks for watching.